All right, so it's kind of October now. It's getting a little chilly outside. It feels like a good time for some shake and bake pork chops. Does that sound good, Alex?
Yeah.
All right. So what we've got some breadcrumbs here that I found in the freezer actually, and so I toasted them up a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to run these through our Cuisinart. All right, so let's go ahead and put these in our mini prep here. Okay, without spilling a whole bunch. Run these in our mini prep, and the mini prep works pretty well because you can do a really fine chop. We've got some thyme here as well. I just want to show you what we do with the thyme. I just picked this from the garden. The easiest way to get the thyme off the stem is to just kind of grab it towards the top, and then run your fingers along it backwards like that. You see, we have stem and we have leaves. Perfect. And around the top it gets a little tricky because the stem is a little bit more tender, so it can break off there. But so you grab it towards the top as far as you dare, and then you pull it down, and there you have some beautiful thyme like that. And having a little bit of stem in there is fine around the top because that's going to be really tender anyway. So then we're going to go ahead and put that in our breadcrumbs, and then we've got some flat leaf parsley. So here's the flat leaf parsley before we picked it. I'm not going to show you picking parsley. That's pretty easy. And the deal with the flat leaf parsley is you never want to get the curly parsley. That doesn't have any flavor. This is the Italian flat leaf parsley. One thing I wanted to show you with the parsley is that the best way to keep it in your fridge, and you can keep it for a very long time this way. This is the way we did it at Acquarello. So you just take the parsley. You can chop off the bottom of the stems if you want, but just put it in some cold water. And then you take your basic bag that you bought some vegetables in at the market with, and then cover it like that, and put this in the fridge like that, okay? And it'll keep for at least a week or two if you do that, all right? That's the best way to keep your parsley. So then we're just going to take our parsley, put it in our mini prep, all right? And this is going to be our shake and bake. All right, here we go. Pulse it a little bit so none of it gets stuck in there. Alright. And look, that is looking good. Look at that. See how nicely the herbs have gotten chopped up and they've gotten nicely incorporated with the breadcrumbs. That looks great. Alright. Now we're going to take our pork chops, these beautiful pork chops that we bought from Heritage Farms a while ago. And I always like to control the amount of salt and pepper and like to have a lot of salt and pepper on them. So what we're going to do is we're going to grind some pepper on each of these. Okay, some nice freshly ground pepper. Okay, that's beautiful. And then you want to take kosher salt. So restaurants always use kosher salt because it's the grain of it makes it very easy to work with. And the whole idea with salt is that you want a very even coating of the salt. Right, it's almost like the coating of the shake and bake, right? But we want a very nice even coating on there, and especially if we weren't doing the whole shake and bake thing, it'd be more important to have a coat. So you want to go it from pretty high up, and almost like it's raining salt. Okay, you don't want to have any big chunks of salt in there because they're no fun to bite into. But you want a nice even coating, especially if you're doing a steak, you know, an expensive steak that you're putting on the grill. The salting is really, really important. So then we're going to just flip them over and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay? And very fine coating of salt here. Alright? Go ahead or use two hands here. Okay? Alright? And get a little bit of pepper on these as well. Okay? And then we are going to take our wonderful shake and bake and give a nice little coating. The 3 pork chops here are breadcrumbs we've just created, and this is your basic Marie Callender's pie tin. These were sort of the most precious item in Suzette's kitchen at Acquarello. I managed to keep one through all these years. I got it myself, didn't take it from the restaurant. And then we're just going to coat them nicely. You want obviously the breadcrumbs in a shallow pan so that you can have a nice even coating of your crumbs. in your pan here. Look at that. Okay. Isn't that nice? Alright, there's one. And we're going to take the other one. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? A nice even coating of these crumbs, and it's just a really nice bright green from our fresh herbs. We could have used dried herbs if we want, but since we had the fresh ones lying around, might as well. Okay, and we're going to do our last one here. Okay, and then the beautiful thing about these breadcrumbs, well, we've already dipped the pork in them, but we can just go ahead and freeze them. It's just like freezing pork. It's okay. We'll just go ahead and freeze these breadcrumbs and then use them again for something, okay? There we go. We've got a very hot pan on our stove here, and we're going to add just a tiny bit more, tiny bit of canola oil. You always want to add oil to a hot pan, not oil to a cold pan, because as soon as the pan gets hot, it's going to start smoking, and you don't want that oil to get more smoky than it needs to be. So you can tell the pan's pretty hot when the oil just sort of runs freely through the pan. You know it's really, really hot when the oil starts smoking immediately and turning brown. So this looks just about right. So we're just going to take our pork chops, and the idea is we want to sear them in a very hot pan, okay? Because that kind of adds a nice brownness on the meat. Okay, here we go. We'll put the bone side in, because the meat near the bone takes longer to cook. And there we go, our last one. Okay, and we're just going to sear these for just a little bit until we get a nice brown coating on the bottom. And then we're going to flip them, and then we're going to put them in a 350-degree oven. We've got our chops. They've been in here for about 2.5 minutes or so. Okay, and what we're going to do is then we're going to turn them over. Okay, look at how they've browned really nicely like that. Okay, keep the bone in, because that's going to cook a little bit more on the inside than the outside. Okay, and we'll flip them like that. Okay, isn't that beautiful? And then we're just going to add a little bit of moisture to this thing. We've found a tiny little bit of white wine here. This is going to make a huge splash, so go ahead and turn that fan up. If I had more white wine, I'd probably add it, but that looks pretty good. Now we're going to just take them and take them off the heat, right? Because we don't want to cook them more quickly than we need to. And go ahead and sort of feel how tender they are. This is a benchmark. And then we're going to put them in our 350-degree oven to cook nice and slowly. Alright, so if we can move the camera down into the oven. Put them in the oven there. Okay, there we go. The chops have been in the oven for, I guess, about 10-15 minutes. And we're going to take a peek, see how they're doing. We still have the pizza stones in there because we just baked some bread. Alright, and then we're going to give them the little doneness test. So we're just going to kind of feel that, and it feels pretty firm. So those feel like they're just about done. They kind of feel like if you're, see if I can hold the camera and do this. No, so like if you're pushing here, Cheryl's gonna do it. There we go. See, you push on your, and you make a pretty tight fist or a loose fist. That's kind of what you want. For pork, you probably want like a medium firm fist, and there we go. So you push on that. That feels good. All right, that's a wrap. Tonight we're going to have, Cheryl contribute a little bit tonight. We're going to have these with some spaghetti squash that she roasted, and then we're going to have that with a little bit of our famous tomato sauce earlier that we covered earlier on Chop and Stir. So let's go ahead and plate these and have some dinner. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Supper time. We've got our shake and bake pork chops, our spaghetti squash with real spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce. And now let's put our meal to the true test. How's it cooked? How's it looking? Oh, that looks good. Just a little slightly pink inside. It's looking beautiful. Alright, Alex has to cut it in small pieces because he doesn't have any front teeth. Alright, okay. Let's see how we're doing here. Tasty?
Shake and bake, McLovin.